Hello and welcome to our glorious Resetting the Shoulder yoga class. Namaste. Let's start by creating a gradient. In a big circle with an inhale, draw the shoulders up. With an exhale, bring them down, widening the collarbones. Remind yourself of this descending and hooking the tip of your shoulder blades towards your pelvis, over your back. Finding the wide collarbones through your rhomboids. I turn sideways so you can see my upright spine, and I remind myself of the wide collarbones and the support from my base and the support from my thoracic spine through the ribs being engaged. Let's roll the shoulder back one more time, having the arms in Prasarita C, fingers interlaced behind your back. Don't lean forward, stay upright. Feel into the width of your collarbones as with an inhale you bring your arms back up, freeing the base of the skull. And with an exhale, keeping the length in your spine without sinking or bending forward or rounding forward. Take 5 long deep breaths here, savoring the space you're creating. And then neck free. Inhale one more time. And with an exhale, slowly let the arms descend, keeping the wide collarbones and the lift throughout your entire spine. Let's free up the legs, turning your feet hip width apart, pointing forward on your mat, knees bent. Inhale, sternum lifts, and with an exhale, slowly descend vertebrae by vertebrae onto the floor, reminding yourself of the active rhomboids and the wide collarbones. With an inhale, keeping the ribs engaged, arms overhead, and with an exhale from your core, roll back up. And as you inhale, lift the arms and the sternum, engage the rhomboids, and with an exhale, roll back down, putting on the brakes with your abdominals. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, wide collarbone space. Come back up to sitting. Inhale here, feeling the shoulders rooting. And with an exhale, slowly descend the last time onto the floor with control. And putting your head back, letting it rest. And then the arms descend onto the floor, rolling the shoulders back one more time and drawing them away from your ears. You may walk in the feet if you feel like it, and use Pada Bandha to push the floor away as you lift with an inhale, and with an exhale, without disturbing the wide collarbone space, descend onto the floor vertebrae by vertebrae. And with an inhale, using the push of the back of your shoulders, your feet, your hands, let the pelvis rise again. And with an exhale, without changing anything, feel the descent, the freeing up of the base of your skull, and the wide collarbones, the neutral shoulder girdle. With an inhale, rise back up one more time. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back on the floor. Still keeping the neutral shoulder girdle. You may walk in the feet if you feel like it. With an inhale, give yourself another push, offering your creative energies to the sky, keeping the heart open, the head relaxed. The exchange between body and mind and spirit as you breathe here in shoulder bridge. Make sure that every inhalation can rise to the top of your lungs. You probably want to close your eyes. To come out with an inhale, lift your heels off the floor, stabilizing the shoulders, and with an exhale, roll back down vertebrae by vertebrae, savoring the space and the freedom in back of the neck, base of skull, shoulders. From here, placing one hand on your belly, the other hand on your heart, just reconnect with this natural movement of your breath. Feel the inhalation rising until they touch the collarbones on the outside, activating the lung meridian. And with an exhale, sink into the floor. savoring the space that's being created. To come out, bend your knees, rock back up with an exhale, setting the hands, and step back into the downward dog to experiment with weight bearing and neutral shoulders. So we're doing this with the body vinyasa. So as you arrive in the downward dog, make sure that your pelvis can tilt forward, your lower back is extended and long. And let's find the body vinyasa by bending with an inhale your elbows to the side, and with an exhale hugging the midline, turning the elbows to the floor and straightening your arms. You will feel this reset for your shoulders, maybe a stretch, and a lot of space between your ears and the inside of your upper arms. Let the head drop like a ripe fruit would from a tree, and feel with every inhalation the sternum rising forward. With every exhalation, the savoring of the space. With the next inhale, come forward into plank. Stabilize the space between your shoulder blades, and with an exhale, come into chaturanga, and from here, a controlled descent to the floor, base of the skull, elongated, wide collarbones. Let's practice rolling back up with Sahaja Cobra by rolling the shoulders front, up and back, pushing the same arm at the same time into the floor and rising into a cobra with wide collarbones and a free base of the neck. Inhale here, offering the sternum up and forward. Wide collarbones, and with an exhale, slowly descend onto the floor, elongating the spine. And then bring your arms back out to the side as a direct extension of your shoulders on the floor. Come into goalpost or cactus arms, and with an inhale from your back, rise. Exhale, sink back down onto the floor. Keep the back of the neck long. Keep the collarbones wide. So the movement is coming from the inhalation, exhalation, and the conscious working of your back muscles. After the last ascent, stay here, feeling the small movements of the diaphragm as it returns into home position, keeping the neck long and disengaged, and with an exhale, descend back down onto the floor, neutral pelvis, engage the core, and from here, shoulders roll back, inhale, push back up onto hands and knees, and with an exhale, come into downward dog. Again, savoring the free head, the extended lumbar spine. Lifting maybe the heels one more time in a body vinyasa. Find the tailbone heel connection, and then the body vinyasa for the arms. So your shoulders are free, your collarbones wide. Breathe. And then with the next inhale, come back forward, stabilizing the spine and the shoulders at the same time, activating Uddiyana Bandha, and with a controlled descent, set your knees back down onto the floor, and then shins crossed or legs parallel, come back to sitting in front of your mat, knees bent, feet parallel, hugging the midline. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, activating the rhomboids, drawing the shoulders towards your hips, and descend one more time, vertebrae by vertebrae, with a flowing breath, or if you can just make your exhalation slow enough, down to the floor, and come supta into a lying position, feet flexed, toes pointing up towards the sky, neutral legs, neutral pelvis, your thumbs on your ribs, your ring fingers on your yeses. Make sure both sides of the waist are equally extended, and come into the connection of core and neutral shoulder girdle. With an inhale, we're coming back up over the side, and with an exhale, we're descending over the left side, down onto the floor, not fully touching. So last round here. Focus on the width of your collarbones, the engaged rhomboids, and then let's go clockwise from left to right for 3 times, keeping the base of the skull wide. And last time, using your core instead of your neck, come back up and down over your right side and relax one more time from the tension of the core work. Neutral shoulder girdle, long back of the neck. Free breath ascending until the lungs or the tip of the lungs touch the collarbones from the inside. Feel how calming this is. Feel how enlivening on a very deep level this is. And then from here, let's bend one leg with an inhale. With an exhale, let the other leg follow. Drawing in your knees, rocking back up with an exhale. And setting the hands. Returning for a brief moment to a releasing downward dog. And then coming back over the sides into Prasarita stance. Feet parallel to the front and back edges of your mat. Rooting through Pada Bandha. And with an inhale, spine straight and extended. Bring your arms up and interlace them with an exhale behind your back into Prasarita C arms. Neutral shoulder girdle. Wide rotator cuff in front. Inhale here. And with an exhale, allow the pelvis to guide the movement of the spine as you descend, focusing on the neutral shoulder girdle and on the extension of your sternum forward, almost as if it would go in front of your mat. If the crown touches the floor, savor the inverted thigh. And keeping the spine extended will ensure that your Manipura chakra is still activated and not collapsing. If you want to draw your arms towards the floor, make sure there's no rounding, no loss of energy, no leaking. And with the next inhale, come back up, freeing up the arms with an exhale, fingertips touching the floor. And as we change the camera setting because the sun was setting, we are switching up here. With an inhale, the right arm comes up. With an exhale, either the back of your hand touches the sacrum or you can bind on the inside of your left leg. And with an exhale, squaring the shoulders to the best of your abilities, go into another forward bend again. Just feeling into the front of your rotator cuff. With the next inhale, free up the right arm. Exhale, let it descend. And then change sides. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, feel the internal rotation of your shoulder as you bind. And then roll the shoulder back, down again to find the neutral rotator cuff, the squaring of the shoulders, and the extended spine, with sternum reaching forward. Inhale, come back up. And with an exhale, free the left arm. Walk your feet in a little bit closer if you need to, and pivot your right foot forward, toes pointing to the front side of your mat. Bend the knee if you need to protect the back of your legs, and then rise back up into Trikonasana, working your left ilia away from your right heel and the adductors on the right inner leg. Both sides of the spine equally extended, reach up with your left arm, making the connection between heaven and earth. And then maybe reset the arm to come behind your right leg as we go into the body Vinyasa. With an inhale, arm coming up from the hip towards the ground, and with an exhale, feel this isolation of the torso, this rotation and the elongation for the spine. And as with an exhale, the arm descends from crown to hip. Feel the neutral shoulder girdle, the working of the rhomboids, the ribs still drawing together, and the heart lifted. You may want to find a bind or just drop the arm behind. And then inhale, bend the right knee. Exhale, rise back up into Parshvavira. Inhale, straighten the right leg again, and with an exhale, left arm still in bind, come into Skandasana. Neutral shoulder girdle here. Inhale, freeing up the left arm. And with an exhale, return into Prasarita stance, activating Pada Bandha, keeping the spine extended. Inhale, arms come up over the side. Exhale, let's deepen our neutral shoulder girdle by challenging it and taking a hold of our elbows or forearms as we descend down into Prasarita, still keeping the extension of the spine, the sternum working forward. And you have really fantastic feedback here from your forearms against your lumbar spine, so you're not collapsing here, and supporting the lift of the heart from your roots and from your choice, from your navel. With the next inhale, rise back up again. Exhale, free the arms. And then we switch sides as the left foot pivots towards the back of the mat. Bend the left knee, setting the left arm, and with an inhale, straightening the left leg to the best of your abilities. Exhale, working the right ilia away from the left heel. Resetting your left hand. And preparing for the body vinyasa. First with the right arm, ascending, making the connection. And then with an exhale, dropping towards your right hip, where we start. So with an inhale, hip to crown. And with an exhale, find this isolation, the elongation, and the activation of the rhomboids. To really be able to lift the heart. And keeping both sides of your waist equally extended as you stand in Trikonasana, in the unification of body, mind and spirit. Maybe you want to bind on the inside of your left leg, feeling the wide collarbones and the balance between the rhomboids working and your ribs drawing together, so there's no leaking again through Manipura. Bending the left knee. With an inhale, rise into Parshvavira, exhale here. And then inhale, straightening the left leg. Come with an exhale into Skandasana with your right arm still in a bind. Inhale, freeing up the right arm, and with an exhale, return to Prasarita, deep forward bend. Finding the slow wave of your breath. Inhale. Let the arms return one more time to the back. And with an exhale, either come into Pristanjali Mudra, palms touching, or stay with the version of hands, getting a hold of your elbows or forearms. And if you're in Pristanjali, as you see me doing here, you have a wonderful feedback from your upper thoracic spine or middle thoracic spine. So there is no rounding, no pushing of the back of the vertebrae into your hands. So you can check back if your back is straight. With the next inhale, rise, and with an exhale, letting the arms return to the earth. I hope you find this very useful and instructional for wide collarbones and rooted shoulders and the free base of the skull. I say thank you for practicing and see you next time. Namaste.